Okay, some of you are saying to yourselves right now, did he move? I mean, I know that's what he was wearing yesterday. I know that's what the room looked like yesterday. Is that the same shirt? Could it be? He just stayed there for 24 hours solid, right? No, that's not it. It's just that I'm so frustrated and upset. I just had to share the love with all of you because I don't understand. I must not be bright enough. I must not be intelligent enough to figure this out. When you watch this, it's going to be Wednesday, August 7th, although it really is August 6th. It's going to be Journal 132, which means that it's going to be T+127. And I say going to be because it isn't yet. But I'm sort of girding myself for battle with the Calleguas Water District now because an event occurred that doesn't make sense, and it's not within my nature to allow it to go unchallenged. And if you're wondering how this is going to tie in to the overall theme of the blog and treatment and recovery through my adventure with primary myelofibrosis, I think I can tie that all together again for you because it's part of being successful is discovering what your nature truly is and then exploiting it to some degree. Let me explain. We left the house toward the end of March, middle end of March, to take up residency at or near the City of Hope during my preconditioning as an inpatient for the stem cell bone marrow transplant, and then for the infusions for that stem cell bone marrow transplant. Subsequently stayed through my experience as an inpatient, and we were then released to the Azusa Home 2 Suites on Azusa Avenue in Azusa so that we could stay there during my bi-weekly clinic visits. And so we wouldn't be far away from the City of Hope in case something went terribly wrong, which fortunately didn't really happen. During that time and in preparation for that time, we left the house secured for our absence. What does that mean? We have a water shutoff valve that prevents any water from running from the main, from the street, into our home. It shuts the water off completely so that you can avoid, we have hardwood floors, as you can see in the back of this image, and they go throughout the whole house. So we tried really hard to eliminate the possibility of flooding and ruining those floors. At least while we were gone, when we wouldn't know about it. And the possibility of mold that would accompany that and the chaos that would have created for my recovery. We also had all of our sprinklers checked before we left. We also had all of them, we have an automatic timer. We had that reset so that the sprinklers would run while water in the house was shut off. While we were in Azusa, we received a bill from the Calleguas Water District indicating that our water usage had gone up. Let's see how that works. 2 people, no longer in the house, not showering in the house, not washing dishes in the house, not maintaining floors or anything like that in the house, not washing clothing in the house, and yet our water usage went up. I called the water district at that time and challenged it, saying, how is this possible? And it was really difficult to do that because Leslie was insisting that we not tell anybody that we weren't home because of her paranoia that information would leak out and would make it easy for a burglar to break in and steal whatever they could steal. although we had moved a lot of stuff into safer, more difficult to access locations. I was told that the only way this was going to get reconciled was that if a representative of the company came out and walked the property and made sure that there was that there were no leaks. We couldn't do that because we were still down in Azusa, but I did tell the woman that as soon as we returned, and it was convenient, I would call and we would make an appointment to do that. Well, the young man that just came out from Calleguas Water District just left. He left moments before I started and finished what will be yesterday's blog post. In the interim, when we got home, we looked at, just 2 days ago, we looked at the water meter. And the water meter was completely covered. The face of the water meter was completely covered in dirt. I mean, 1/8 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch of dirt on the meter. Could not be read. No way it could be read. Was supposed to have been read on July 25th. That's what it says on the documentation that I have on the new bill we just received. There was far too much debris, sediment, dirt, schmutz, whatever you want to call it, on that meter for it to be legible. So the idea that somebody came out and actually read it is impossible, not on July 25th, because it would have been cleaner than it was when we looked at it the other day. The young man came out here. He was very pleasant, very professional. Walked the property, turned on the sprinklers to make sure that none of them was broken, spouting water up into the air, all the things that we had done as soon as we got home to make sure that that wasn't any of the problems that we were facing. And validated what 3 different people, 3 different friends of ours, our next door neighbor, our friends Marcia and Steve up the street, and another friend, Arthur and Claudine, came out and verified when they walked the property and took a look around. There were no leaks, no evidence of any leaks externally. And the young man basically was saying to me, he was sorry, but because the readings weren't abnormally large, because the readings were in the normal range of what they've been in the past and what they should be, there was nothing that he could do. That all I could do was pay it. Those of you who know me kind of have a sense of what my reaction to that was. It wasn't good. Basically, I suggested that what he was trying to get me to accept was illogical. It didn't make any sense. Because even though the readings that they got may have been within a normal range, the fact that we were not here and not on the property and not taking advantage of the water, and the water was turned off, precluded the possibility that there should have been any increase in usage at all. In fact, the usage should have gone way down, and didn't. This went back and forth and round far too long. I was raised in a service business. I understand consumer questions and the need to really address those questions in terms that the client understands, if you're going to have any hope of reconciling that situation at all. And the only thing that really matters in cases like that are the perceptions of the client, because that's the only thing that's real to them. And unless this is a moral issue where you can't bear the thought of being wrong, you generally roll over and allow the client to be right. Well, that's not happening here, and that's okay. I kind of understand it. I kind of accept it. But the fact of the matter is, for me to pay this bill, I'm going to need somebody to explain to me how our water usage went up when we didn't use more water, when we weren't even here. So tomorrow, the superintendent, who's above the field manager, I guess, will be out and will do battle again. I'll give you an update, but there is a corollary here with treatment, and that is, and maybe it's a stretch, maybe it isn't, and that is when you're given information that doesn't make sense to you, try really hard not to accept it. It's okay to challenge it, especially if you're the consumer, especially if you're the patient, and it's medical information that could have an incredibly powerful impact on your future health. Just because somebody in a position of authority, maybe authority or not, gives you that information, is no reason for you to just roll over and accept it. So I think that's an important point, and I think that's something for all of us to really consider, something for us to ponder in the meantime. Until tomorrow, which means that the superintendent, the field superintendent, well, the people will be out here from Calleguas Water District. Stay well and take care. I'll have bulletins as they break. In the meantime, see you as the saga continues.